Hey guys, thanks a lot for joining in. This is your instructor Rahul. I hope you are able to see my screen and able to hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for confirming. Okay, so I can see so many people joined today. Guys, could you please confirm or just type it in a chat box for the people who have completed the Java and the people who have who are joining the very first session. So just mention that Java completed, and people who are joining for the very first time just mention first session. That's it. So I just wanted to see, uh, okay, Java completed first session. Okay. Okay. Yeah, just type it in a chat box, guys. Everyone. Okay. Okay, so I can see we have a mixed audience today. So there are some people who have already completed the core Java part and now want to start with their Selenium sessions. And there are many new joinees who want to start from the very first session from scratch, right? So today it's like an introductory session where we'll be discussing about what exactly is Selenium, what is our roadmap, and we're going to do some basic configuration. We'll see how to work with Selenium, right? So a little bit of configuration we'll be doing it on our today's session, and in detail we'll be discussing the complete roadmap. So the other thing, core Java sessions will be continued from next weekend, because tomorrow as well at the same time we are conducting one demo session on Cypress. That is another automation tool which supports JavaScript and TypeScript, and that is also very much in demand. So from next weekend, that batch will gonna move to a different time, that is morning 8 a.m. India time. So in case you guys want to attend it in parallel, you can attend in parallel as well. Right, but the new Java sessions will gonna start from next weekend, and this batch will be continued from next weekend itself, like next Saturday, from the day 2 of Selenium session. So today is like the first session. First is like an introductory session, right? So before we get started, do you guys have any questions, any queries that you want to discuss before we start with the session? Anyone?
Yeah, hi, Rahul, am I audible to you?
Hi, yeah, please be a little loud.
Yeah, actually, I am having that Chrome driver issue. Uh, I've
Mm-hmm.
pinged you on WhatsApp. So, current Chrome version, I'm not getting it, that driver.exe file of it.
Okay, so
Once,
we're gonna do the Chrome driver configuration today, and let's see if you have followed the same steps. I'll be doing it on the latest Chrome browser itself, and I'll be using the latest version of Selenium. So let's see if you have followed the same step, then it is going to work fine.
because I'm not getting that current version of driver.exe file.
That is no more required. That is no more required.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
we'll discuss about this in today's session.
okay, okay, sure.
Okay.
Hello, sir. This is
Uh,
Megha.
yeah, Mega.
Yeah. So actually, I have a Java version as 11.0.18. So should I?
That's
Uh,
fine. 11 is the most stable version.
okay. Thanks.
And so I have Java 17 version. So fine.
Java 17.
Right.
Yeah, that is also fine. So minimum requirement now is Java 11. So if you are using JDK 1.8, Java 8, that is, so that's no more gonna support. So you need to move at least a minimum version of Java 11. And most of the components that we are going to integrate with Selenium, they support Java 11. So Java 11 is quite stable.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I have a question. Yep,
Mhm.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I just need to know that I'm from non-IT background and this thing is a little bit new for me. I learned from myself from YouTubes and all. So is this course suitable for me too? Because I talked to that person on call. He said that they'll you will start from the beginning.
Yeah, we are going to start from the beginning, from very scratch. So, if you are from BTech or if you are not from computer science, even you can do it. But yes, you need to start from beginning, and the Java, the programming part, you need not to worry about, because core Java we are going to start from scratch.
So next week you are saying that you're gonna start the session. So you need some pre-downloading or something from
That
me,
that
like
that I'll let you know in the today's session. Like whatever configuration we are going to do today, same configuration you need to do it on your machine.
okay, and you are going to make the batches according to the people who are very new to this thing, or you gonna mix
See,
all kind of.
mostly people who join this course are 90% are from manual testing background without any prior experience in automation or programming. So we
Okay.
start everything from scratch. So core Java will be started from scratch only. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
Right, and this batch is going to divide into two parts. So people who have completed core Java will be continuing with me for the Selenium sessions, and people who are joining for the very first time, they'll be moved to another batch where they'll be first learning detailed Java, and once their Java sessions are over, then I'll be taking the Selenium sessions for them. Right, so we'll be forming up the new WhatsApp group for this batch. So that information, the new meeting invites will be generated for both Selenium and Java sessions, which will be shared by next week. And the WhatsApp group as well will be created and shared by next week. Okay. Any more questions?
Sir, when you will share this recording session, either you will share in WhatsApp group or in mail.
I'll be uploading it to the portal. So once done with the session, it's gonna take, let's say, a couple of hours, like 1 or 2 hours, and then you're gonna get the recording.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, sir. This is Anjum.
Yeah, hi, Andrew.
So, today there is no class for Core Java
No,
today-
core Java will gonna start from next weekend.
next weekend. And what is the timing?
Same time, 8
Same
p.m.
time.
to 10 p.m.
Okay, that means today only the Selenium class, right?
Yeah, today is the Selenium introduction.
Oh,
Hi. Hi, sir.
Yeah, hi, Lata.
So this is Lata actually. The first will be the core Java, then we will going to start with the Selenium.
Yes, first we'll be covering complete core Java, and then we're gonna go for the Selenium. So today is just like an overview session. We're gonna see what level of Java that is required, because mostly people are coming from manual background with zero knowledge of any programming. So programming is something like, as a manual tester, we think that it is really complex to write code, but it's nothing like that. So that is what we'll be looking in our today's session. So you're just gonna get some feel what level of programming that is required to work on Selenium. So today's session is all about that, and from next weekend you'll be starting with your Java sessions.
What will be the timings for the class?
Same times, 8 p.m. India time till 10 p.m. India time.
So it's like Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
And duration of the classes?
It's gonna take at least 3.5 months, out of which 6 weekends will be your core Java and 7 weekends will be Selenium.
And for every class, you are saying 1 hour or more than 1 hour?
It's gonna be 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on the topic.
Okay.
Is there any class for Playwright with TypeScript?
Playwright TypeScript we already conducted, I guess last month itself. So you can find the recent recordings in the portal. Now we are starting with Cypress. So after Cypress batch, we can again plan for Playwright TypeScript.
Cypress with TypeScript or
Cypress with both JavaScript, TypeScript, both.
What's the timing for the TypeScript class?
This Cypress is gonna be 8 a.m. India time.
8 a.m.?
Yeah, 8 a.m. India time.
No, Saturday or Sunday?
Both this.
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And that regarding Playwright and TypeScript both are explained separately?
Yeah,
Or?
both. Actually, there is. Let me show it to you where it is hosted. So you guys who are already enrolled, you have access to all these courses. From here, you can check for this course. So here, they started with JavaScript first, then Cypress, and then this Playwright. Right, and after that, the last part, these are the detailed lectures on Playwright, and after that, WebDriver iOS. So all three flavors in JavaScript, TypeScript, automation, it is covered.
No, this
Playwright comes in the. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sir. Playwright comes in the Cypress?
No, Playwright is a separate automation tool. Cypress is a separate automation tool, but both supports JavaScript. Playwright is by Microsoft, like we have Selenium. So Selenium is like an open source, same way Playwright is open source. So, but Playwright is actually created by Microsoft, and like all major languages are supported in Playwright as well.
And
So
Cypress is
JavaScript,
also,
Java, Python.
Cypress also Microsoft?
Sorry? No, Cypress
Cypress.
is not Microsoft. It's a different organization, it's a different community.
So which one you think is better in the industry, like
See,
Playwright or
both are
Cypress?
in demand, but Cypress came earlier, so it has more demand as compared to Playwright.
And what about Protractor? Something I hear that name also.
Protractor
Which
is
one
gone. That's gone from the market. In 2022, it got deprecated, so no more.
Oh, no more
thing.
Protractor now.
No more Protractor now. So that's
And
the
what
reason.
about RPA? Something that also coming to the market.
RPA is like there are some paid and licensed version in RPA as well. But if we like there, you're not gonna find much companies like we have for Selenium, we have for Cypress. So opening wise, you'll find a little less as compared to Selenium Cypress. So rest, I mean, there is a separate demand for RPA. Yeah.
That means first is Selenium with Java or Python. Which one first?
Both Java, Python, both are in demand.
Okay. Then comes the Cypress, second one.
Yeah.
You'll be covering the accessibility testing also. Nowadays, they're asking in the requirements in the market everywhere.
That I'll check with the manual trainer because he's the one who'll be taking all these topics. So we are planning to start with the manual batch very soon. So I'll check with him and then I'll update you.
Okay, so you'll be posting us, no, in the group,
Yes,
WhatsApp group, like
all the things will be.
testing.
Make sure you all guys who are already enrolled are added to the Telegram channel because we post all the communications, all the major communications are done in the Telegram channel. So if you are not yet added, then you can just send me a mail on trainer@waytoautomation.com or just ping me on WhatsApp, then I'll send it to you.
Okay. And please let us know when the accessibility testing, you'll be covering that in the automation also, no, accessibility testing?
Sure. Sorry?
We'll be covering that part in the automation also, in Selenium also, accessibility testing?
I need to check the feasibility for that.
That's the main demand right away actually now in Canada.
I'll check the feasibility for that and see if any topic related to that can be covered. But if you need anything specific related to that, if you have any test scenario for that, then you can share it with me and I'll
test scenario. When I see into requirements now, they're asking accessibility testing for all the requirements mostly.
So I'll check with the feasibility of that.
Yeah, 60-70% requirements are with that one now. Along with this automation or manual, either anything, but they're asking that one's required.
Sure, I'll check the feasibility and update you.
Please make sure that you'll cover that one, please.
Sir, I have one question. So, I mean, I have recently joined that Core Java session, completed that one, and now joining this Selenium. So, what are the courses we should be doing, which are in latest in market? We cannot do everything. So, what are the top 2, 3 things you can suggest?
So yeah, that is what like if we talk about manual testing. So let us discuss this topic after covering some of the session for today, because the answer is there in the topics that I'm going to discuss, right? So let us first cover a little bit of that, and then I'll answer this question of yours.
Sure, sure. Thanks.
Right,
I
then
just
it
want
will
to
be
ask
more
you,
clear
Rahul,
why we
this
are going to cover API, why we are going to cover APM, why we are going to cover UI testing. So the answer is in between whatever details that we are going to discuss today.
Yeah, so actually there are lots of things. I mean, even today I have heard first time this Playwright, and lots of
Yeah,
things are in market. So what to read, what not to, because everything we cannot.
yeah. Every
Mm.
few weeks or every few months, you'll see a new automation tool coming
Right.
into the market. So we cannot learn everything, but yes, we first have to build up our base for automation. So the base will be built up using Selenium itself, and once you know Selenium, then adding another tool is like within a week or two, you should be able to add that tool to your list.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
I just want to ask you, Rahul, this thing that this course is the latest Playwright one, or because
Yeah,
their
later. See, in the
documentation.
live sessions, we are covering latest version only.
How, I mean, because I've seen that within 6 months, Microsoft have changed its document
Yes, yes.
drastically. They have changed very many things.
Yeah, see, these Playwright sessions are taken latest only. So it's like 1 or 2 months. I guess it's not more than that old. So you'll find the latest things only. If not, then you can just if you are facing any issues, then just post it in the WhatsApp group, like the Cypress WhatsApp group, because Sandeep is the one who is actually taking these sessions. So he'll gonna assist in fixing those issues.
I don't have the link for getting
Okay,
added into that
you
WhatsApp
can
group.
just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll send it to you.
Okay, sure.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Just wanted to confirm, like in this batch, starting from the next weekend, Java classes will be there, and then Selenium will start.
Yeah, people who have already completed Java will continue with the Selenium classes at the same time, and
Okay.
people who are joining for the very first time will be continuing in the Java batch at the same time. So there are
Okay.
two instructors, one for Selenium and one for Java. So Java will be taken by Mr. Ajay. So he'll be taking your Java sessions, and Selenium I myself will be taking.
All right, sir. Thank you.
And sir, tomorrow there is no class.
Now, tomorrow you can attend Cypress demo session. So we, at the same time, we have scheduled demo for Cypress.
Okay. Okay, sir.
One more thing. So I was informed on call that this is the demo session. So I thought that somebody is going to whoever will teach us Java or something who will start the session. So you are the person who will teach the Java?
No, I'll be
Or-
covering Selenium. So before you start with Java, because see what happens is you might have studied some of the programming during your graduation or during your schooling time as well, like C, C++. So what happens is when you start with any programming language, and if the motto is not clear where we are going to use that programming language, then at times it becomes very boring and little difficult to understand, like why we are using loops, why we are using arrays. So at times these topics become little hectic, right? So the purpose of this demo session is to make you understand that the programming that we are going to study is not like the theoretical concepts we are going to learn. We are going to practically implement it when we write the same programming in Selenium using the Java part. When we write 2-3 lines of code, then you're going to see a browser is launching and all the actions are being performed. And then you're never going to get bored with the programming. So that is what it's going to help you in building up your base for the programming. So normally it happens, if I learn Java, if I don't apply Java for next 6 months, I'm going to forget all the concepts of Java. Then I again need to learn it again. Right? So that is where people think that programming is very complex. I cannot handle it. Right? But when you start applying the same thing in automation, you start writing 2-3 lines of code with your own hands, you start applying some logics using the basic programming concept, if, else, loops, arrays, and then you see that it is practically working on your browser and all the actions are being performed, then you will find it very interesting. And that is where your base is going to develop.
Okay, and one more thing. Before enrolling in this program, can I have some questions. So after this session, can you be on the screen?
Sure.
Yeah, and with you or with Java instructor, I don't know, but
I mean,
I
you
have
can
some
ask
question
any
if you.
questions you want. I'll be able to answer that. Don't worry.
Yes, because I want to know my level because I'm very new to this Java thing. I just learned by myself from YouTube videos, and I knew pretty much, but I just want to know that this is the correct thing to join the session or no, because
Sure.
I don't think so for one person he'll start from the scratch or
No, we see Java part will be started from scratch from ABC of Java, so don't worry about that.
Okay, but still I have to ask some questions after
Sure.
the session.
So let us get started with the session, right? And then, like if you have more queries, then you can keep on posting it in the chat box as well. Or else if it is related to the topic we are discussing, then you can unmute yourself and ask, right? So let's get started. So the very first question, what exactly is Selenium? So anything and everything that you know about Selenium, just let me know.
Selenium is an API.
Selenium is an API. Anything else? Yes, Irfan, we are going to discuss all the versions of Selenium 1, 2, 3, 4, like whatever versions are and what is the difference. We'll be discussing about that in detail. Might not be in today's session due to limited time, but yes, we are going to cover this in detail with the architecture explanation. So don't worry about that. Okay, so Sharon is saying that it's framework. Siva is saying collection of libraries. Collection of libraries for web-based automation testing, right? So API, framework, collection of library for web-based only, right? Why only? Because it's only for web-based testing. So it means there are other forms of testing that we generally do. I mean, there are other applications where we perform testing. So one is like web-based testing, web-based applications. Like if you talk about, not about automation, if you talk about manual testing, where generally we do manual testing. We do manual testing on websites, like web-based applications. Apart from web-based, where we do manual testing, what all applications we test?
On mobile device testing.
We test
Window-based.
Desktop, yeah, right.
Right. We test database, right? We write queries and then we fetch data from the database, and when we validate if there are duplicate data, and then other form of testing in database, right? Anything else apart from this that we test?
I think API testing using the Postman.
Okay, so you can for API you can say web services, right?
Yeah, right.
Web services, like we have REST, we have SOAP. SOAP is almost out of the market. So these days, REST APIs, RESTful APIs, right? Anything else apart from this? Mainframe, we can consider it related to database. Like mainframes are very old now.
Will Selenium support API automation?
That's what we need to check today. So let's see.
Okay.
So web-based, mobile, desktop, database, web services. These are the major areas where we perform testing. And we can perform manual as well as automation testing in all these areas. But is Selenium going to support all these testing like web, mobile, desktop, database, web services? Can we do all this testing using Selenium? Anyone? Can we do all this testing using Selenium? No, we can't, right? Using Selenium, we can't, but we can create a framework which can support all these testing in one single project, right? And then in that, we can use Selenium, right? But if we standalone, if we talk about just Selenium, Selenium is only for web-based application testing. Selenium comes only here. Selenium can't automate mobile, can't automate desktop, no, not database, not web services, only and only web-based. That is your websites. You can automate your websites. But then why Selenium is very popular in the market? Like every next opening, even if you're applying for a manual testing opening, Selenium these days is like a prerequisite. Right? If you talk about automation, the very first thing comes like Selenium. Do you have knowledge of Selenium? Why only Selenium? Why not other automation tools? There are many other automation tools in the market, but why Selenium is very popular? Free of cost, open source. So Selenium is basically an open source automation framework or API, right? Some people call it as a tool as well. So Selenium is an open source tool for web-based automation testing, right? There are other automation tools as well for web-based application or desktop-based application testing. Can you name any other automation tool which it's like very popular, like today Selenium is? Prior to Selenium, there was other automation tool which was very widely used in the industry. QTP, correct. QTP, UFT, right? QTP is also named as UFT now. So it was like a biggest competitor of Selenium. But now time have changed. Selenium has taken over the entire market. You'll hardly find openings around UFT. UFT is initially, it was created by a company named as Mercury, and now it is taken over by HP. Right, we have HP UFT. Yeah, there are other automation tools like Tosca is there, like RPA is there, n number of automation tools are there, but majorly prior to Selenium, QTP was very much in demand, right? So if we talk about QTP, QTP can automate web-based application as well, and QTP can automate desktop-based applications as well. But Selenium can only handle web-based application. Still, now Selenium is very popular because Selenium is open source. Open source means no license required to work on Selenium, right? It's completely free of cost. Anyone can download, configure Selenium and start automating their websites, right? And if we talk about QTP, the license is very expensive. If you go for like a single user license, somewhere around 2000 USD or more than that, and if a company is going for a 50 user license, it's going to cost a huge amount, right? Whereas Selenium, completely free of cost. Just that Selenium cannot automate desktop-based application. But if we talk about current market, current industry, you'll find 90% of the applications are web-based because it's a time of cloud computing. Everything is on web, right? So you'll hardly find desktop applications created these days. So client, they want their application can be accessed from any location, from any part of the world with a single URL. So you'll find mostly web-based applications, and Selenium can automate any web-based applications easily, right? So this is one of the best thing of Selenium. It's not just open source like Selenium. Companies are moving towards Selenium because Selenium is free of cost. cost is not the only factor. There are a number of other factors behind why Selenium is very popular, very widely used in the industry. Right? We'll discuss about all these features. Now, mobile application. Have you heard about any automation tool for mobile application?
APM.
APM.
APM. So APM is a very popular automation tool for mobile application, correct?
P-Cloud.
Selendroid was generated initially from Selenium itself. Selendroid means Selenium for Android. So similarly, there was something for iOS also created. Now these two were separate components that were created. Later on, they clubbed everything and created this APM. Now APM is going to support automation on both iOS as well as Android. Right? No more Selendroid. Okay. Desktop, we have seen QTB is there, RFT is there, right? Database, your vendors like MySQL, SQL, Oracle, MongoDB, right? You can use these and you can create queries and store procedures, and then you can automate your queries as well. For web services, have you heard about any tool which can test web services?
Postman.
Postman. So Postman is majorly for manual testing of the APIs. We have something for automation as well.
Rest
Ready
assured.
API.
Rest assured.
Correct. Rest assured is there. So Ready API is similar to Rest Assured only, but if you talk about market, then you'll find 90% of the companies using Rest Assured and 10% using Ready API. Both are Java APIs itself, right? But for automation, we use these APIs, right? For manual, we use Postman, right? So these are the areas where we generally perform testing, and we have different automation available.
Hi, sir.
For web-based, we have like Selenium as an automation tool available, right? Okay, so which company came up with Selenium? Can anyone tell me? Like QTP, we have Mercury, but which company came up with Selenium? ThoughtWorks, correct. So initially, ThoughtWorks started this project, Selenium, right? Okay, another query. Groovy is used for which automation tool? So we have a SOAP UI for performing API testing as well. Like we have Postman, so there are some licensed tools as well available. So here we do scripting in Groovy, right? But nowadays, if you talk about automation, majorly people are using REST assured only. And there is a reason behind that.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
You will be covering APM also, no? Selenium with APM?
APM, we are going to start one batch. So parallel to Selenium batch, but we are covering APM this time in Python. So same concepts, you can cover it in Java as well. There is not much difference in that, but we are going to cover both Android, iOS part for APM and Python.
iOS also. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Python, you're going to cover that one, not into this Selenium.
But same concept, you can use it in Java. And if you face any issues then in Java, then you can get in touch with me for APM part.
So already we have any recording sessions for Selenium with APM or no? Not
it's not Selenium with APM. Selenium is separate. APM is separate tool. So we have a course on APM. Yes, recording
APM
of
for
yeah, APM with Java, APM with Python. Both the courses are available in recording as well.
Okay. I have one question. We are having different tools supported and using by different languages, like Selenium with Java, Playwright with TypeScript, and Appium, as you told that Python is there. Most of the companies they directly jump up to the language code part. Means, as you said, like they ask you the question like what language code you have used. So as you say there's Java, they will directly jump up to the questions from Java. But if you say it like we have used Playwright with TypeScript, they will directly jump up to the TypeScript and then start afterwards. They were as interested in Playwright.
Absolutely. See, this is because what
How
Playwright is,
will,
what
as an
Selenium
individual,
is.
no. As an individual, how to manage both the language? Because I can only be comfortable and hands-on on the Java, not the JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, everything. So how to meet up with the market scenarios is like they are having different things, and most of the companies using Playwright with TypeScript, not Java. Now since Playwright is very new and now very few companies are working on it, but TypeScript is there because it's a React based tool, and companies
Yeah.
don't want to invest in Java and Playwright things. So can you explain me this scenario, how to deal with an tester who is having 5 years of experience and then end up getting very struggle in that कि Java भी पढ़ना है और TypeScript भी पढ़ना है और
Exactly.
nobody is going to hire you only for the tool, just what you have learned as Selenium, Playwright, or whatsoever.
Absolutely, you should be very much robust. I mean, you like they're not hiring you for any tool. They just wanted to see if you're how much good you're in programming, so that you can be switched to anything they want, right? So see, when I started my career, I mean, it's like more than 15 years back. Even I was a manual tester. I started my career from manual testing, and that time was something like, if you know what is test case, what is test plan, you should be able to crack the interview very easily, because there was very less competition at that point of time when I started. And I chose this testing because even I was very afraid of programming language, right? So like I spent a couple of years in manual testing, and then I've seen like competition is growing, and then the very first version of Selenium came into the market, right? I started Selenium from the very first version itself. So then I got some training from my organization on this Selenium, and then I've seen some basic language is also required for Selenium, and then we started writing a code a little bit, and we started with some scripts, writing some basic Java code, and we got some training around that. And then we found it very interesting, right? That using Selenium, very first version was a very simple stuff. Now Selenium, there are so many things in Selenium, but when we talk about the very first version of Selenium, it was very simple to use. People who are not good in programming can also work in the very first version. If you know what are classes, what are objects, how to call a method, you can easily work with the very first version of Selenium. So I started with that part of time, but slowly and slowly, when I keep on adding things, I keep on working with frameworks. So that actually helped me in building up my programming base. And once your base is built up, then you can easily add on the second programming language to it. So then I add on Python with Selenium. Then I also explored the Ruby part. I have automated some of the projects in Selenium with Ruby as well, right? Because the base, if your base is built up, then switching to another programming language is just like a 1 week task. You just need to work with the syntaxes. That's it. Right. So if your base is built up, you can easily pick up another automation tool. Right. If you know what Selenium is an like you can do UI automation with Selenium. And there are a couple of classes, couple of methods you're calling, and you're using them in your project. Right. So same thing is with Playwright. You'll find find different classes, but the purpose is same.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, my question was more for the language part. I understand that Selenium and Playwright I can handle it, but when it comes to language part, no, that TypeScript may there are very many things like promises, callback, hell, all these things.
Absolutely.
Ask you, which I am clearly no idea of. While Java, at least I have some familiarity. It has been 5 years now before I was learned, and then I still in the touch. But for TypeScript, and it's very difficult to deal with the programming part of it.
See, this you will face only when you mention everything in your resume. If you have created a resume, you have mentioned Selenium, you have mentioned types like Playwright, you have mentioned Cypress, you are mentioning all the tools. Even if you have a little bit knowledge of it, then you're gonna face these sort of questions. If
But I
you
have worked in a company where the Playwright with the TypeScript is there. So I was working on that Playwright with the TypeScript, and now the situation is I have experience on Selenium Java considerable amount, and or 2.5 years, and then 7 to 8 months or approximate 1 year. I'm having experience on Selenium Playwright with TypeScript. So it's a clear cut. The thing is, I have worked both the things, and now companies are asking much of TypeScript, which I have clearly
Yeah,
know.
then that should be great. See, you have practically worked on that particular language for at least 7 months. So 7 months is a good time. If you are working for like 5 to 6 hours a day and using the same language, you should be familiar with all the callbacks and other things in TypeScript. Then if some question comes around TypeScript, you should be able to answer it, right? So yeah, we have to make ourselves that much robust. Like if we are working in Java for a couple of years, now we should be adding some more things. And this is what the need of market. This is what industry need. They just don't need that you should know only one thing and you're not robust. If we have some other requirement, you're not able to switch on to that particular thing.
See, writing down the script is one thing, and getting it deep into the language part is completely different. You are not like कि आप कुछ भी बोलेंगे, कुछ भी थोड़ा बहुत आपको idea है और उसके हिसाब से you are going to answer the questions. It's not practically, it's not possible. Writing down the script is fine. You can tell me in the Python, I can also go through that thing and I can do it any day. But
so see, it's like there is not I mean that one is not the last company you're giving interview to, right? There are thousands of companies in the industry, right? If one interview you face any like tough questions specific to TypeScript, it's not like in the next organization you're also going to get the same level of questions. But yes, you should be ready to everything, right? If you are applying for TypeScript, if you are applying for JavaScript, then your basic concept should be clear.
I'll talk with you specifically, I mean, onto this, not in this class, but in the end, sometimes later, I'll talk with you regarding this.
Sure. We can have a detailed discussion around this.
It's very specific to me. I don't want to waste
Yeah,
the time.
that's fine. Yeah, that should be great.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
But in interview, like if you see the requirements, they're asking like, do you have experience with Selenium? Then they will say Python. They will say Selenium with Java. They'll say Python, as well as they Cypress, and they'll put all the tools into it. Then how?
Absolutely.
Like
it depends on your experience. If you are coming from 5-6 years of experience, then you should be familiar with Python. You should be familiar with JavaScript and other. If you are dedicated into automation field from past 4-5 years, right? But if you are joining new, or if you are showing like you have 1 year of experience in Selenium Java, then you might not face these type of questions. So yes, the roadmap is quite huge, right? Selenium is just like you're beginning into automation. You're starting into automation, right? But down the line, 2 years, 3 years, you should be adding these things in your skill set. So this is very important.
To actually like based on the age wise, and if you want to resumes would be shortlisted, we have to, even though you're fresher in automation, we have to post it as like established, like we are experienced in it, no? Then only our resume will be shortlisted.
Absolutely. The competition has grown so much. I mean,
In
it's
that
just
case,
like,
how can we put all three, and how can we answer as a fresher?
see, without having a good understanding for any particular topic, you should not mention that thing in your resume, right? If you are good in Selenium, then only put Selenium. If you are not good in Cypress, and if you have just gone through a couple of things in Cypress and you're adding Cypress in your resume, then definitely you're gonna face questions around Cypress. But if you have not mentioned that thing in your resume, no one is going to ask you questions around Cypress. If they ask that, have you worked on Cypress? Completely say, no, I've not used Cypress, but yes, I'm open to to my base is already clear. If you give me a couple of days, I can easily do some research around Cypress, and I can migrate my scripts to Cypress. So that is how you need to handle the interview. You're not going to tell them, no, I don't know Cypress, I cannot do Cypress, I cannot write JavaScript. You should be open to everything. But yes,
That's
you need.
true.
Yeah.
But the requirement says like the requirement says like Cypress Cypress, and it talks about APM. It talks all the tools into it. Then we have to update the resume based on that. Then only the resume will be shortlisted. No.
Yeah,
In that
these days,
case,
see, this is the situation where the HR of the company is not familiar with what exact requirement is. If they got the requirement of automation, they search for different like job posting on the portals and see what the job posting is asking for all these things. They do copy paste in their requirement, and then they
yeah,
paste the same thing, and then this is what we face challenges. So
that
yeah, I
case
mean,
we have to
you
mention, no, in that case we have to put in the resume. Then only the resume will be shortlisted.
exactly. So
But in
that is,
interview point, they'll ask, okay, you have put all this. Why you? If you don't answer, again they will not select us. Then what?
yeah,
How to
I
handle
can
this
I
situation?
can understand. I can understand the situation is there, but yes, the only thing to deal it is your learning process. Just keep on learning new things, and if there is a specific requirement for Selenium, then apply for Selenium. If you know Cypress, then the specific requirement for Cypress, then apply for that particular job.
Okay.
Right. So this is the situation. I mean, we have to deal with it. We cannot run away from it.
Learning Java is easier or tough actually?
It's simple. Learning Python, Java, JavaScript, all are simple. It's just like your basic concepts you need to build up. You're not learning any advanced part of this language. If we talk about Java, we are not going to learn advanced Java because we are not going to develop anything, right? We are going to use the library which is already developed. And same thing, if your Java basic if else loops is clear, same thing, you'll be using it in Python. So syntax wise, just you need to make a little change. Rest base, your base is built up. You need not, you're not gonna get tough time in understanding a different language.
They'll ask the script also. No, we need to remember the script. No, in the interview, the coding.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
In interview point, they'll ask the code. No, code actually for each and
Yeah,
every Java
they'll
code.
definitely gonna check you on the coding part. So that is what I mean. Let us discuss this. Let us start with the topic first, right? And
Okay.
we'll take other questions. I mean, because already we are done with almost 1 hour, and we we have not yet started with the topic, right? So we'll take this later 15 minutes by the end of this session. We're gonna have detailed discussion around this, right?
Okay.
So let us just try to cover the topic first.
Hi, sir. I have one question about this desktop application.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, I'm working on the web-based application using Selenium Java,
Mm-hmm.
but my organization is developed one application, command line interface tool, and they are installing on the separate like clients, and they asked me to automate that CLI tool. So like which QTP I need to use right there to automate
See,
that.
Automating desktop application, we have QTP. There is something called as Win App Driver. This is something like an open source. You can try this as well, or you can try RP as well.
And yeah,
UI,
what about
that is
the
UiPath.
okay? And what about the like language for WinApp driver and RPA?
WinApp is Java. I guess in RPA there is some scripting language. I've not really used RPA, but yes, we have conducted one detailed batch on RPA as well. Try going through those videos. You'll find it in your all courses. There's a detailed course on RPA. So it is somewhere over here. So it's a very, very detailed course. I guess it's over here. This is RPA UiPath. It's a detailed, I guess, 26 days of training dedicatedly to RPA. So you can give this a try, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. WinUp, we are not going. We are going to cover like Selenium, like the UI part only in the Selenium sessions. Right. Okay. So what is the current version of Selenium? Can anyone tell me what is the current version of Selenium? Selenium 4, correct. So Selenium 4.0 is the current version, and the release is 1.2.1. This is the latest version of Selenium that we will be working on. Which is the main website of Selenium? Anyone? Selenium HQ. See, still people remember Selenium HQ. This is now selenium.dev. So see, very first, this is the new website. I mean, although they have moved to this URL a long time back, but prior to this, it was like seleniumhq.org. Now they have moved to selenium.dev. So very first thing about Selenium, that Selenium automates browser. That's it. Selenium is only for web-based testing, no desktop application, no other mobile application. Only and only the web-based part can be automated using Selenium. If you go to download, you will see the current version of Selenium, that is 4.12.1. This is the stable version, which was launched on September 4, 2023. Right. Now, can you tell me how many components are there in Selenium, and can you name them as well? 4 components. What are those? RC, grid, WebDriver, and IDE, correct. So we have IDE, we have RC, we have WebDriver, we have grid. IDE, if we talk about, this is like a record and play. So every automation tool, QTP, UFT, they have some record and play feature. Same way in Selenium, we have a record and play plugin available to your browser, right? So this is what Selenium IDE, just like a small plugin that you'll find it on your browser, something like this, Selenium IDE. This is IDE. Now here, what you can do, you can click on record a new test in your project. Just give this project name, let's say Google test. Guys, please put yourself on mute. Click on OK. Give some URL, http google.com. Click on start recording. You'll see a browser launched and navigate it to google.com. Now, whatever action that you're going to perform manually, let's say I click here Selenium, then I click on this link, and it's getting navigated. So whatever action that I'm performing, you'll see that all the action, why it is not getting recorded? Just give me a moment. Some issue with the browser, I guess. So it's just a record and play tool, and this is not very widely used in the industry. Some issue with the browser.
ID is deprecated or still we can use?
It's not deprecated. We have ID available. See, these are getting recorded, right? So you just click stop. Yeah, it is going to generate the code for you. Just click on stop and give this test name, let's say Google test. Click on OK. And here you got your test. You click on export and click on exports. The multiple languages available. Click on export. The Google test has a program incomplete compile. Okay, there's some issue with this tool. I may need to update it or what. But practically, we never use this Selenium IDE. So let me show you just the record and play, but we never use it. http google.com, click on start recording. And then if we type Selenium, if we click on search, if we click on this, yeah. And then if we take a look at this tool, so all the things are getting recorded now. And if I click on stop, give this name as Google test 1, click on OK. And if you want to play it back, there is run current test. If you click on this, you'll see this is something which is called as record and play. Right? All the actions are being performed. See. And now if you want to export this, so you can simply click on this and say export. Multiple languages available. Click on export and say Google test. It will be added to downloads. So once it is downloaded, you can go back to your downloads and you should be able to see this code showing up. See. So normally people, what they do, just they copy paste this code and they go to their editor and do some modification here and then try to rerun the program. But this code is not at all complex. This is very simple code. If we start learning Selenium, we'll find this very simple. There is no need to use this record and play. And companies, they are not using it. This plugin is very small invention of Selenium, right? If we talk about actual project where we do end-to-end automation, we automate e-commerce application, banking application, health domain, any domain we talk about, if we have a huge project to automate, we cannot use Selenium. Because if we talk about Selenium, then the components that we discussed about IDE, RC, WebDriver, Grid, these are just 25% used in your automation project. In your entire automation, Selenium is used just 25%. Then what is the rest 75%? If Selenium is just 25%, then what is the rest 75%? Logic. What all components, what all integrations we do? Apart from Selenium, anything that we add. Reporting, test engine,
POI,
test engine,
yeah.
Maven, Jenkins,
Jenkins.
Dockers, cloud integration like AWS, Azure, right? Log4j. Have you heard about these tools? Right? And the major part that is used is core Java. Right? Because see, the very first thing we discussed about what exactly Selenium. And some people mention it's an API, some mention it's a framework, some mention it's a collection of jars, it's an open source tool. Very first thing about Selenium is that it is not a tool. Selenium is not a tool. We cannot install Selenium. You're not going to see Selenium. Like with other automation tool, you get some exe file, you double click on it, do next, it gets installed on your machine, provide you some platform where you can do recording, you can write scripting, you can use multiple features of that tool. But it's not like that with Selenium. You cannot see Selenium, right? There is no GUI of Selenium. Like, except this Selenium IDE, we are not talking about IDE right now. IDE is just a small plugin. But practically, if we talk about Selenium, you cannot see Selenium. There is no GUI. There is no tool called as Selenium. So if it is not a tool, what exactly is Selenium? Selenium is basically an API. Selenium is a framework, collection of libraries, collection of jar files. If we are using Selenium in Java, we get some Selenium in a form of a jar file. Right? Can you tell me what are languages Selenium supports? Tell me some of the features of Selenium. Anyone? What all it supports? Is plugin different from a jar file? Yes, plugin is your browser plugin. Multi-language support? Multi-language support is there. So what all languages? It supports Java, it supports Python, it supports Ruby, it supports PHP, it supports
C#.
JavaScript, it supports C#, right? So all these major languages in the world are supported by Selenium. So if we talk about Selenium in Java, Selenium is available in a form of a jar file. If we talk about Selenium with C#, it is available in a form of a DLL file. With Ruby, it is available in a form of a gem file. With Python, it is available in a form of a pip library, right? So different languages, different libraries available. But what exactly is there inside this jar file if I talk about? What do we have inside jar file? We say collection of library. What do we have inside collection of library? Code. So what that code consists of? Predefined methods, right? So we have methods, functions, classes, interfaces, right? So it's like this jar file consists of so many classes, so many interfaces, so many methods, so many functions, which are already created in some project, which is created by a third-party organization, like like I said, Selenium was started by ThoughtWorks. So ThoughtWorks has created some project in which they have created some collection of classes, methods, interfaces, and now they're providing us those methods. If we want to automate something, we just need to call those methods, which are already created. Everything is already there. We just need to call those methods. We just need to call those functions and automate a website. That is what Selenium is. Right? So if we talk about Selenium, Selenium is basically an API. Now, what do you understand by the term API? What exactly is an API? What is an API?
An intermediate that through that the response comes from the server.
So if we talk about API, it's not only related to web services like REST API. API, it's actually a huge term. So what exactly we mean? What is an API?
In the simple language, we can using the API we can connect different function. I mean different machines, different servers. We can say that in different languages.
Correct.
Client server interface.
Okay, correct. Two applications we can connect. That's also correct. Yeah, so all these means APIs, right? So normally, let's take a simple example that I generally use in my demo. So let's say I'm a Java developer and I got a task to design a calculator, right? It's calculator. So in a calculator, there are various operations available. I can add something, divide something, subtract something, multiply something, and so on. Right. So as a Java developer, if I have to design a calculator, what I'll be doing, I'll be creating a class with a name as calculator. Now, I hope everyone understand what exactly a class is. If not understand, everyone must have heard somewhere there is something called as class, right? Maybe in your graduation, you might have studied C, C++ or basic Java. Is there anyone who have never touched any programming language? Not even heard about any thing like a class? Don't worry about the programming part right now. We are not going to go in depth of programming because we'll be starting the programming part from next session only, right? You'll be people who are joining very new will be trained on the basic programming concept. So don't worry about that. It's just like what Selenium is not a tool. So it is just collection of classes and methods. So we need to understand what exactly is a class, right? So even in order to understand what is an API, if I'm designing a calculator, right? So calculator, I'm creating it as a class. Now, what do we have inside a class? That's fine. Even if you have read it in the books theoretically, not practically worked on it, don't worry about it. Just try to understand the concept today. Don't worry about the code, right? Just try to understand the concept. We have methods. Just the methods.
Variables, data members,
right? So a lot of things, data types, variables, data members, and functions and constructor, a lot of things are there inside a class, right? So now if I talk about these methods, these functionality, addition, division, I'll be creating them in a form of a function inside this class. If we talk about function, we call function as a method in Java. right? So we are not going to call this as a function. We're going to call it as a method. Method, function, both means the same thing. So we have created an addition method. In this, I'm going to write some code which is going to add some number. Same way, I'll be creating a method called as divide. And in this, I'm going to write some code which is going to divide some number. Same way, subtract. And same way, multiply. So one by one, I'm going to create all these methods, and I'll be keeping all the code inside this method, which is going to perform that particular action. So let's say I'm done creating all these methods, right? I'm done creating this calculator project. And now I want to test whether addition is working fine or not. So I need to call this addition method from this calculator class. How will I call it? How to call a method from the class?
Create an object.
Create an object, correct. How to create an object? What is the syntax? Anyone, what is the syntax for creating object of this class?
Class name, object.
Class name, object,
equals
object,
to
I can
new.
write C, I can write obj, I can give any name, and then equal to new.
Then class name.
Class name.
Yes.
Like this. So this is how we create an object of this class. How to call a method?
Object dot
Object
add.
dot method add, right? So if I write this much code and if I execute it, whatever that is written inside addition method, that will be executed. And after that, if I want to call subtraction, then I'll say obj dot subtract, right? One by one, I can keep on calling the methods and it will execute that particular functionality. But in order to call these methods, first we need to create an object of this class. And this is the syntax how to create an object. Now, if I talk about this statement, what is an object inside this statement? What is
Sorry, what is the question?
What is an object inside this statement, the highlighted line? What is an object?
New calculator.
New calculator method is the object.
Yes.
Is new calculator an object or is obj as an object?
OBJ is a reference variable.
Reference.
Okay. How about others? I can see some people saying new calculator, some people saying OBJ. How about other guys? Guys, I want everyone to participate. We have like 40 plus people attending today. So I want to make the session very interactive so that you should not feel like you're taking an online training, right? So you'll feel like that you're taking a classroom training. You can ask n many questions you have, right? Don't worry whether it is correct or not. So I want answers from everyone. OBJ, new calculator. Not sure. Okay, that's fine. OBJ is a reference. Correct. So yeah, so many people are saying OBJ is an object. Many people are saying new calculator is the one which creates an object, right? So if I talk about this statement, what is this? What is this called as?
Class name.
Class name. Anything else we call it as? Type. Correct. So this is called as type. This is type. This is not an object. This is object reference, right? This is just a variable, which is actually holding the address of an object, right? What is this called as? We'll see this thing practically as well. So what is this? Assignment operator, correct. What is this?
Keyword.
Keyword, correct. And what is this?
Instance of the class.
Constructor. Correct.
Oh, constructor.
Right. And this thing actually creates an object, right? So we'll discuss it practically. So normally what happens is previously we used to write the Java code in Notepad, but time have changed. Many editors available in the market with artificial intelligence right? So if you're not good in coding, these editors help us a lot. If there are 1,000 methods inside a class, we cannot learn all those methods. We cannot remember them. We'll simply say obj dot. It shows us list of all the methods, and we can simply choose the method from there. If we make any mistake while writing code, these editors helps us a lot while providing the suggestions, right? Some editors are paid, some are open source, right? If we talk about editors, like we have WebStorm is there, NetBeans is there, JetBrains is there, like IntelliJ is there, IDE, Eclipse is there, right? Eclipse as an Eclipse IDE. So Eclipse is very widely used in the industry. There are many companies using IntelliJ as well, but majorly Eclipse is being used. So we'll be covering Eclipse itself in the training. Eclipse is completely open source, no license required to use Eclipse. So we will be writing our Java code in Eclipse, but before we download, configure Eclipse, the very first thing, no, Azure, AWS, Azure we are going to cover in the DevOps. We have already covered that. AWS integration will be doing it in Selenium course. We'll have that topic covered in that. Right. So Eclipse, the prerequisite to get started with Eclipse is that you need to have Java installed on your machine. Java as in JDK. And the minimum version that is required is JDK 11. That is Java 11. Right. This is the most stable version. I'm using the same version. And all the integrations works absolutely fine with Java 11. If you have 17, that is also fine, but don't use the very latest version of Java. Otherwise, you may gonna face some compatibility issues while using Selenium, right? So if you have any other version, just go to Control Panel and check for the version. Click on Uninstall a program. Check for your Java version from here. Like mine is showing 11. If you have any other version, just click on Uninstall, right? And don't worry, it will not hamper any other running programs. So just uninstall it. And then how you need to install it, simply say download JDK 11. And you'll be taken to this Oracle website. This is by Oracle. So click on this. And if you go down, you'll see Java is available for different operating systems like Linux, Mac, Solaris, Windows, right? Mine is Windows 64-bit. So I've downloaded this exe file. So you just need to click on this. And when you're doing it for the very first time, so Oracle website, you may need to create an account of yours. That is a free account, simple sign up process. And then you should be able to download this exe file. Installation is very simple. Just double click on this exe, next, and it gets installed on your machine. Once the Java is installed, you're going to see some folders generated inside your C drive program files, and you'll see this Java folder created. If you open this, you'll find this JDK 11. Open this, you'll find a bin folder, and inside this, you'll find Java over here. This is your Java application, right? Now, there are many integrations you'll be doing, like you'll be using Eclipse. Eclipse cannot run without Java. You'll be using Jenkins, you'll be using Maven, you'll be using n number of other integrations. For all these integrations, they need Java on your machine. So you need to tell them where you have installed Java, in which folder you have Java installed. So instead of telling each and every integration, each and every program, what we generally do, we configure Java globally in our environment variables, in our system environment variable. So how to do it? This is the root folder of your Java, right? Just type edit in your search, and you get this edit the system environment variable. Open this, click on environment variables, and you see user variable and system variable. You need not to do anything in the user variable. You'll find this system variable. Click on new and type a variable name. Name it as Java_home and paste the path of your JDK folder over here. That's it. Click on OK, like I've already done it. See, this variable is holding this particular address. if you go down, you'll find another variable called as path variable. Now, this is a very crucial configuration of your machine. You will see a lot of things already configured. So you'll not be doing any deletion, addition over here. Otherwise, it might corrupt your Windows as well, because you can see there are system 32 settings as well over here. So don't do any modification over here. Simply click on new, type %Java_home %. If you type this, whatever value you have given to your Java home variable will gonna come over here. And where is Java inside this folder? It is inside this bin folder. So you just need to say \bin. That's it. Like I've configured it over here. So I'm not going to redo it. Let me delete it. Once you're done with this, click on OK, click on OK, click on OK, and your Java is successfully configured. Now open up command prompt and type Java-version. And you should be able to see your current version of Java installed over here. This is the very first step you need to do. The next thing is to download an editor where you can write the Java code. So I'll simply say download Eclipse and go to the very first link. And from here, we'll be using the latest version of Eclipse itself. Click on download packages. And so many components you'll find over here, because Eclipse is just an editor. It supports C, C++, it supports PHP, it supports Ruby, it supports Python. We don't need all these editors. We just need this enterprise Java editor, right? So this is the one that you'll be downloading. So based on your Windows, Mac, Linux, you need to download this. Simply click on this, and you'll be taken to your nearest server. You can download it from here. Simply click on this. It comes as a zip file. So once I've already downloaded this. This is somewhere around 300 MB file. Once you download this, you're gonna get it over here. Like I've already downloaded in my D drive software. Yeah, this is Eclipse that I'm using. So you can use 09, I'm using 03, same year, right? Just unzip it, you're gonna get the folder like this. Open this, you'll see Eclipse folder. Nothing installable in Eclipse. This is the application. Double click on it, it will gonna launch your Eclipse, right? Very first thing, it is going to ask you for a workspace. Now, workspace is basically a location where you're maintaining your project, you're writing the code, you're creating classes, you're storing it at some location. That is what is called as workspace. Next time when you again launch Eclipse, you want to select that particular project, you just need to give your workspace over here and your project will be launched. So when you're starting it for the very first time, just create a workspace of your choice. Let's say I name it as batch September 2023. So click on launch. And in few seconds, it's going to set up your Eclipse environment where you can start writing your Java code. So this is the very first screen. And this is a welcome screen. Just close it. And this left side is a project explorer. Here you'll be creating new projects. You'll be creating new classes, interfaces. You'll see the complete hierarchy created over here. Here you are going to write the code, and here you'll be getting the output of that code, right? So we'll be discussing about like, can we create many workspaces? It's not going to affect your system. If you see on my machine, like with every batch, I create a new workspace. So these are my list of workspaces. You can see 2019, 18, I mean, like on this machine, it started from 2019, right? So it's not going to create any issue, right? So you can have n number of workspaces in your system. These are just code just in KBs, right? So now this is where you'll be getting the output. Now, very first thing what we are discussing is what exactly is an API. So for that, I'm acting as a Java developer and going to create a calculator. So as a Java project, I'll be saying first create a project. And here I'll be selecting Java project. Click on next. And I'm going to give any name to this project. I'll name it as Kelsey project. And here you can see by default, it is showing Java 17 selected, right? But I don't have Java 17 on my machine. So I'm going to select Java 11 and click on finish. And click on open. If you expand this, you'll see this module info created by default, you delete it. This is not required. Right. So this is the SRC folder, which is called as a source folder. You'll be creating all the classes inside this. These are your by default Java library, which is attached to your project. So any internal Java class you are going to use, you need not to include any packages on your own. So what are packages? We'll discuss about that. But this is by default added. Now, normally what happens if we talk about C++ code, right? We used to write some header statement, include conio.h, studio.h, right? Similar to this, if we use Java in Notepad, then manually we need to add some import statement, import java.util.star, something like this, right? So in case you are using Java internal classes in Eclipse, you need not to worry about these import statement. Internal functionality will be automatically handled, right? You need not to worry about those imports. You simply need to focus on creating your own classes, like right click on source folder, send new, click on class and create a class of your choice. This is a template. So give some class name. Class name, I'm going to give it as, let's say I'm creating calculator. So I'll be creating a class with the name as calculator with a capital C. This is very important. If I create it with small letter as well, it is not going to throw any error. It will create the class. But there are some coding best practices that we need to follow, where we create class name always with a capital letter. There's something called as camel casing. We'll discuss about that. So check this public static void main. Click on finish. And you'll see a sample code created over here. Right? Here you see a lot of stuff. These are comments. You can just remove them. So this whole thing is a class. And this is a by default method inside this class, by default method, which is called as a main method. Anything you need to execute has to be inside this method body. Along with this, you'll see something in reddish color, something in black color. All this reddish color stuff are predefined keywords, the reserved keywords of Java. Like we have public, protected, private. These are called as access modifiers. We have static, non-static, we have void, string, int, other return type to a method. What are these things? You need not to worry about it. Right now, we have detailed lectures in the core Java sessions for access modifiers, for return type, void, int, string, static, non-static members. So all these things will be discussed in detail in Java. For today's session, you need not to worry about it. We'll see, let's say I mentioned anything we need to execute in Java has to be present inside this main method, right? So for execution, the very first thing when we start with any programming language is we try to print something, right? If we talk about C, how to print in C? Can anyone tell me how to print in C? Come on, guys,
Printf.
how to print in C? Sorry?
Printf.
Printf, correct. Okay, C++.
Println or print.
No. How we do it in C++? C out. It is basically C in and C out, right? C out for printing. Correct. And now how we do it in Java?
System.out.println.
System.out.println. Correct. The very first programming program is to print hello world, right? This is the run button. Simply click on run and you're going to see hello world printed, right? Very simple. To get started with Java, it's very simple. But we're not here to print hello world. We are here to create a calculator program in which we have various methods available, addition, division. So I'm going to create those methods. I'm going to create a method with the name as add, and I'll start it with a small letter. Class name, capital letter, method name, small letter. So there's something called as camel casing. Now, what this camel casing is? If there is a 3-letter word, something like the dark night, if I write it like this is not very readable, right? To make it readable, if it is a class name, I'll start it with a capital letter. And any joining word will be in caps. So this is like a form of a camel, right? This way it becomes readable. You should be able to understand it easily. Now, if this is a class name, I'll start it with small letter. Any joining word will be in caps. So this is called as camel casing. The entire industry is following the same process. So if you read anyone else's code, any developer's code, you should be able to understand, okay, this is a class and this is a method. So that's what process we are following. Class name capital letter, method name small letter. If you write it in caps, it's not going to throw any error, right? But this is a common practice that we should follow. Okay, so in this addition method, I'm going to write some code which is going to add some number. But right now we have not yet started with the programming. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to print something. So when you call this method, it is going to print adding some numbers. That's it. And same way, I'm going to create other methods as well, like one for subtract, one for divide, one for multiply. And this is going to print subtracting some numbers, dividing some numbers, and multiplying some numbers. Let's say I'm done by creating this all this functionality, and now I want to call this addition method. So where to call it? Inside the main method, right? How to call it? By creating an object of this class. And how to do that? We've already seen. So this is how we create an object of the class. So I'll just copy this, paste it. See, no errors. This is a correct statement. If instead of calculator, if I write calculators, you'll see it is highlighted with red color. Right? Now, if you mouse over, Eclipse will provide you suggestion. Calculators cannot be resolved to a type. See, this thing is called as a type. Right? And it is giving suggestions. Create class calculators. Change to calculators. I'll click on this. It will be changed to calculators. So this thing is called as a type. Now, if I say obj dot, it will show me list of all the methods that I've created. See, addition is there, division is there, multiplication is there, subtraction is there. I can call the methods one by one, save it, run it, and you'll see adding some number printed. Same way, I'll say obj dot subtract, obj dot divide. One by one, I'll keep on calling these methods. And when I save them, run them, you'll see all the methods are executed, right? Now, there is one more method which has got a same name as of the class name. What we call it as? A method, the same name as of the class name. What do we? Constructor, correct. What are constructors? What are constructors? Can anyone tell me what are constructors? We have constructors in C++ as well. So what are constructors?
Static methods.
Sorry?
Static methods.
Static methods.
Constructor are used for the creation of the object.
A special method used for initialization.
Predefined method, initialization of class. Not getting the correct answer, the exact answer. Why we need them? Used for initialization at the time of object creation. Initialization of what?
Initialization of the
every time it's object created
on the variable.
Variables, okay. Okay. So Yes, it has the same name as of the class name. And this thing is called at the very beginning when we create an object of a class, used for allocating memory as well, correct? Right? So there are multiple reasons why we create constructor. But right now over here, constructor is like a method with the same name as of the class name. And this is the very first thing which is automatically called as soon as we create an object of a class, right? So as I'm saying, this is like a method. So I can write some code over here as well. So let's say I write a code saying calling constructor. Now, how to call it? Shall I go over here and say obj dot calculator? See, I'm not getting it. So we cannot call it explicitly like this, right? This is not a method. So how to call it? As soon as you create an object, it will automatically be called. Even if you don't write this. In this statement, we are creating object, right? So as soon as I click on run, you'll see calling constructor. Right? So automatically it is called. Now we discussed about what is an object in this statement. Some people say obj is an object. Some people say this is an object. So let's assume obj is an object. I'll remove this. Still it is a valid statement. There are no errors. Right? So if this is an object, if I click on run, just let me know whether this constructor will be called or not. Because constructor is called only when object is created. Now, if this is object, then it should print calling constructor, right? Whether it is going to print or not. If I click on run.
No, we need to new keyword.
Right. So everyone says that it's not going to print. See, I'm clicking on run, it's not printing. So this means it is not an object, right? So now what I'll do, I'll just remove this. Still, it is a valid statement. Now, if I click on run, will it gonna print or not? Will it gonna print? Will it gonna call constructor? Yes. Let's see. See, calling
Yes.
constructor. Right? So this is where the object is created. Now, if this is an object, then what is the need of calculator obj? Why we need it? Why we need this thing? I can only write this. Why we need that obj? To call other methods, to access method in the class, right? Some naming should be used. So it means if I want to call add, then I'll say obj.add, obj.subtract. If I don't have that obj, I cannot call the add method. Correct? Can I call addition method without that object reference? Can I call? No. So everyone says no. I can only see 2 no's. Can we call addition method without obj?
No.
No. Okay. Irfan is saying through constructor. How? Through constructor if I mention it inside constructor. Okay. No, without mentioning it inside constructor. See, I can still call it. I can still call the addition method without obj. How? By simply saying dot add. See, I'm able to call it. If I run this, see, calling constructor and then adding some numbers. Right? I can call it without the reference as well. But what if I want to call subtract? How will I do that? If I want to call subtract, I again need to write it like this. Division, I again need to write it like this. Multiplication, I again need to write it like this. So it means to call 4 methods, I'm creating 4 different objects. See, constructor is called 4 times. So if you have 100 methods, are you going to create 100 objects? That's not feasible, right? So what we want, only one object to be created, and all the methods should be referred or called from the same object reference. So we generally create a variable, give it any name, obj or meaningful name, calc equal to new calculator, right? And every variable somehow have some data type, some type in Java, right? This is mandatory to define a type. Like even if you write any value, store it in a variable, value equal to this, there has to be a type for this value. What is the type of this variable where we're storing 100?
Integer.
We can store it only inside int, right? Can I store it, like if I store it inside int, it's working fine. Can I store it inside string? Can I store it inside string? Yes, with double quotes, right? So I need to convert it, like I need to make it, or let's say I'm storing my name, Rahul, right? This has to be stored only and only inside string. Can I store it inside int? I can't, right? So it means whatever the value is, the type should be corresponding to that value only, right? If it is like characters like this, I need to store it inside string. If it is numbers, I need to store it inside int. Now, if I talk about string, what is string? What is string in Java?
Is a class non-primitive type, data type?
It's a data type, correct.
String is a class.
String
Yeah.
is a class. It's a data type as well as it is a class. If I mouse over onto string, then you'll see string class. So if string is a class, then what is value for that class? Object or object reference? So it's like a reference variable. So if you say value dot, it will show you list of all the methods inside the string class. See, all the methods belongs to string class. Same way, if I talk about calc, what data type this is going to have? String, int. We're not storing string values. We're not storing numbers. We're storing the value, which is having the type of this calculator class. And now, if you do calculator.add, calculator.subtract, calculator.divide, calculator.multiply, save it, run it, you're going to see just one object created and all the methods are referred from the same object reference, right? So this is where this is a type, this is a reference, a variable, this is assignment operator, this is keyword, this is your constructor, right? If you add, there are something which is like we define some parameters to a method as well, right? We can define a parameter over here as well. What are parameters? People who are new, don't get confused. This is just an example. Let's say if I type something like int a, you'll see where it is going to affect. It is going to affect your constructor. Just mouse over and see the constructor is undefined. It is treating this thing as a constructor. And why it is undefined? It is saying to add some integer value over here. Now the errors are gone. So this thing is also called as a constructor, right? So these are very, very basic concepts, which will be learning from scratch in our Java sessions. But in order to understand an API, this is very important. What is a class? What are methods, right? Now let's assume I've created all these things. It is working absolutely fine. I've tested all the methods are working fine. And I've written somewhere around 100 lines of code with a very complex logic in this addition method. Now, if someone wants to do addition, I've already written all the logic. He need not to do any hard work. He can simply call this addition method and can add numbers, right? And what I want to launch this project in the market as an open source project. I don't want to charge anything. If someone wants to do addition, division, subtraction, he can access my project. He can access these methods that I've created without rewriting the code, right? And open source not only means that free of cost, it also means that if someone wants to contribute to this project, then he is most welcome. So maybe if some developers, he might like my project and he wants to include some functionality of calculating square root, percentage, then he's most welcome. He can add that functionality in this project. And if someone wants to use it as a free of cost, then it's an open source project. He can directly use it. But how will he get access to my project? I want from any part of the world, if anyone wants to access this functionality, he should be able to do it. So what I'll do, I'll right click on my project and I'll say export. I'll select Java and I'll select the jar file. I'm going to export this project as a jar file. Jar file is Java archive. And I'm going to give some name to this project, calculator version 1.0.jar. Very first version of my project, right? And I'll save it somewhere, let's say on my desktop, and I'll click on save, click on finish. And then you're gonna see a calculator project created. Now, if I double click on it, will it gonna install calculator on my machine? No, it is not going to do any installation. In this project, you're only gonna come to know what all classes are there, what all methods are there. That's it. Now, I want that anyone can access my project. So I'll upload this project on my website, because website can be accessed from any part of the world. If someone wants to do addition division, he can download this project and can integrate in his project and use access addition, division, multiplication without rewriting the code. Right? So that's what the benefit of this jar file. Now, let's say I left this organization. I'm going to close this project. Can you please show us how to use this? Yes, I'm going to explain you that only. I'm going to show you that only, don't worry. So let me close this project first. So I left this organization, xyz.com. I'm going to close this project. So let me close it. Now I joined a new company. Again, as a Java developer, this time I joined Citibank, right? Assam banking domain. So I joined this, and again, as a Java developer, I joined, and their project was actually created in Java only. And I joined in between of this project. So they're already having some classes created with a name, let's say banking. So there was a banking class already available. In this, some methods were already there, like public void profit. There was a method for calculating profit. There was method for calculating loss, something like this. And I was hired in between of this project. So they asked me to implement a functionality to add salaries for n number of employees. So if I talk about this method, let's assume the method is similar to what I've created in my previous project for addition. Same thing I have to create it over here. Now I can easily do it, but it is going to take some time, because that was like 100 lines of code with a very complex logic. It may gonna take me 1, 2 or more than that days, but I can finish it. But why to put such an effort when it is already available free of cost in that open source project? So what I've done, I've gone to that website, download that jar file, and right click on my project, Citibank project, and clicked on build path, add external archive, and then selected this jar file. Click on open. Now this jar file is added as a reference library to my project. If you expand this jar file, you should be able to see calculator class and all the methods that you have created inside that project. But you're not able to see the code. That's fine. At times it happens, developer might not expose the code, but you should be able to call the functionality. In an open source project, open source means anyone can contribute into the development part. So they give away their code as well. But here we don't have access to the code, but we have access to the functionality, and we don't need the code. So I want to implement this addition functionality. How to do it? Simply I'll go over here in this class, and I'm going to create an object of calculator class. Calculator calc equal to new calculator. And I'm able to create the object. I'm able to access this calculator method without any issues with the help of this jar file. If this jar file is not there, if let's say I go to build path and remove it, then Eclipse is not able to understand what this calculator is. How will Eclipse understand what this calculator is? Because this is coming from a third-party project. which is created by a different organization. In order to tell Eclipse what this calculator is, it is coming from a third-party project. We need to add that project as a reference library in our project. Then we should be able to access all the functionality. I'll go over here and say calc.add and see I've implemented the addition functionality without rewriting the complete code. Let us change this name to add salary. Right? So, can you please show one more time how to call reference library? Okay, just right click, say import, sorry, right click, build path, add external build path, and select this. Click on open, that's it. And it will be added as a reference library. How we know that? We need to create an object reference for calculator class. If you want to access any method, then how will you access it? You need to create an object, then only you'll be able to access it, right? I want to access this addition functionality from calculator project. So how will I access it? I know there was a class called as calculator, and inside that we have addition method. So that is the reason I've created an object and I've created addition method. So whosoever is sharing that jar file with you will gonna give you access to all the classes, will give you the documentation, will tell you how many classes are there, how many methods are there.
That is what I meant to ask.
Yeah. Right. And if the code is not exposed, then we don't need to worry about the code. Are we going to create addition method from scratch over here? No. Because addition is already created by that XYZ organization. We are accessing here just the method. We don't want what is written inside that method. We just want that functionality to be implemented. So we have called that functionality. Now, if you call this add salary, let's say if I create a main method here, and if I call this add salary, how to call this add salary? This is inside banking class. So you just need to create an object of banking. How? Banking B equal to new banking. That's it. And now if you say b.add salary, if you call this method and if you run it, whatever that is written inside the addition method will be called. See, have we implemented this calling constructor adding some number in our project anywhere? No. This is called from this addition method where all these things is already implemented. Maybe some 100
before that,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So what I'm saying is before using these all the methods, do we need to import this project or the reference library will work?
We just added this project in a reference library. That's it. And we called this class.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to import it.
Yeah, we have not done any import. Same way, if we talk about Selenium, Selenium is the same thing. Selenium is just collection of classes and methods. Now, where you can download Selenium, like we downloaded this project because we know this is our internal project. We have created a jar file. But if you go to main website of Selenium, you'll get same thing over here. See, this is latest stable version. Click on this and see what you are getting. It's getting downloaded. And we got Selenium server, something like this. Okay, it gets downloaded over here. Selenium server version 4.12.1, and this is jar file. We got a jar file itself. In the same project, you can just right click, say build path, add external archive, go to download, and add this jar file. That's it. You have added Selenium in your project. That is the only configuration of Selenium. You need Java, JDK, you need Eclipse, you need this jar file. Now you can automate any website in the world. This is the very simple configuration. Selenium jar file is just, you see, 30 MB, just 30 to 40 MB, not more than that. Right?
So
just
do we need
38.9 MB.
do we all need to install this Selenium server file?
This is not installation, this is configuration.
Yeah,
You're not
sorry,
installing. You just need to download it, import it. That's it.
Can you show again from where you have downloaded?
Okay, let me show this.
The site.
You go to selenium.dev, go to download, and go a little down, you'll see latest stable version. Click on this, you'll get the jar file.
Thank you.
Can we be able to see the code in the jar by any way? Yes, you can see that. They give away the code as well. I'll show you, but not today. In the next session, I'll show you how you can see the code. We can explore the code as well, all the classes as well, right? So they give away the code as well.
Rahul, can you show me that how to invoke the browser? Because that is what
I'm going to, the next step is that only, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And one more question, follow-up question is like, can we install Selenium in Visual Studio IDE?
Can we install Selenium with what?
Visual Studio.
Visual Studio, yeah, with any editor you can use Selenium. Even you can use it with Notepad as well. Right, IDE is just to support, otherwise, I mean, this calculator, what is this? This is just a class. If you have added Selenium, right, this jar, Utkarsh, please put yourself on mute. There's a background noise also coming. Thanks. So if we have added this jar, this is a collection of classes only, right? Let's say calculator was there in calculator. This was a different company project. Now this is created by a different organization. They have their own classes, own set of classes, own set of methods. Now in automation, like we want to use Selenium for what? For website automation. So we want to launch our browser, right? We want to launch Chrome browser. So in calculator class, we have in calculator project, we have calculator class. Now in Selenium project, we have a class called as Chrome driver. So we're going to create an object of this class, Chrome driver equal to new Chrome driver. That's it. Like we have created calculator calc equal to new calculator. Here we are creating Chrome driver equal. This class is coming from Selenium. This class is coming from calculator project, right? So I'm going to comment out this and I'm going to use this. Now, if I click on run, see what happens. A browser is launched. See, this has launched a Chrome browser. Just by writing this code and clicking the run button, a browser is getting launched. Right? Before this, we talked about what is an API. So this jar file is what is an API. Right? This jar file acts as an API to Citibank project. This calculator, it's an API for the Citibank project. And if we talk about Selenium, Selenium is the same stuff. Selenium is also an API. It's a third-party project. It's a project created by a different organization which contains all the methods, all the libraries, classes, interfaces, which you can consume it in any project of yours, and you can access that functionality and automate the entire website. You are not going to recreate all the methods for automating a website. Let's say you want to click on any button, you want to do navigation. You're not going to write all the code. Maybe there is 100 lines of code written for doing navigation. You're not going to do that. That thing is already developed. Some companies already written a code for it. Some developer has already created that method. What you need to do is just create an object of that class and call those methods. Put driver dot and call the method called as get. It asks you for a URL. Provide that URL over here, http google.com. Save it, run it, and you're going to see it's going to launch browser, and now it's navigating to google.com. So we are not writing that code to do the entire navigation. That functionality is already written inside this get method. Maybe some 100 lines of code with very complex logic that is written. But we are not worried about that. We are not creating Selenium. Selenium is already created. Right? We just need basic concepts, basic programming concepts. Like what is the class? What are methods? How to call the methods? One by one, now we keep on calling the methods and we can automate the entire website. But before we call any method, I just created an object of Chrome driver class. And when I clicked on run, what happened is it launched a browser. So where that code is written for launching the browser? Some developer might have written some code, right? That it is going to launch the browser from your machine. Maybe it is like 500 lines of very complex code. But where is that code written? Can anyone tell me where that code is written? In the jar? Correct. Where inside the jar? Where inside the jar?
Selenium.
Selenium?
Good.
Class? Class. It is inside the class.
Yes. That's yeah.
Chrome driver class. But where inside the Chrome driver class?
Remote web driver.
Remote web driver? We have not called any remote web driver here.
Constructor?
Constructor, correct. This thing is written inside a constructor. Right? Not even inside a method. We have not called any method. We have just created object of the class. Even if I don't write this, if I just write it, and if I run this, create an object, the very first thing that is called is a constructor. And inside constructor, the code is written to launch a browser. Right? So that is how, I mean, not only Chrome, I mean, if you want to work on Firefox, just create an object of Firefox class. That's it. Run this and you're going to see a Firefox browser will launch. So the code is written inside the constructor. And now if you want to do navigation, if you want to click, you want to type, you want to automate all your manual test cases, you need to create a reference of this class, this object, and then call the methods one by one. So you'll be doing like Chrome driver equal to this, and then you do driver dot, you get list of all the methods, and then keep on calling methods one by one and automate your entire website. So that is how you'll be working on Selenium. So no GUI, just collection of classes and methods, which is already developed. So you're not developing it. You're not learning any advanced programming that you need to develop the entire Selenium. Right? Selenium is already developed. You just need to understand the basic concepts of programming, where you can create an object of these classes, you can call the methods. After that, you can apply some logic, if, else, loops. When you start working with frameworks like data-driven, keyword-driven, hybrid, page objects, then you need some concepts of OOPS, where you'll be implementing some inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, right? So these are the things that you may have theoretically studied in some programming language, but now when you're working with Selenium, you'll be practically implementing it. Then you're never going to forget these concepts. Right? What are access modifiers? Where to use public, where to use private? This you may have studied theoretically. But now when you're practically going to use it, when working with Selenium, you are never going to forget these concepts. And same thing, like I talked about Selenium, it's a jar file. If I talk about APM, now Selenium automates UI part, that is your website. If I go to this website and if I talk, if I just type Java client, this is Java client for APM mobile web driver. If you click on this, you get a jar file, a single jar file downloaded. That is, if you see in the downloads, you'll see this jar file. Now, if you include this jar file, right click, go to build path, add external archives, you can add this jar file. And now this jar file will give you access to a class called as Android driver, equal to new Android driver. Right? I've already used this name, so I need to change this name. And then there are some values that you may need to add it over here, right, to match these things, but you are able to access this. Now, using this, you can automate things on your real mobile device, on your real Android device. So means in the same project, I can use Selenium as well as I can use APM. Now I want to test some web services as well. Now, why to invest in a third-party tool like SOAP UI or Postman when we can do this, when we can automate our web services as well in the same project? And for that, you have REST assured library available. So if you search for REST assured, you get this Java library, easy testing of REST services. So go over here and you can download this bundle. This will be downloaded in a form of a jar file, rest assured. And then you can include this jar file and call the classes which are there inside this jar file, and you can automate your web services as well. You want to do some database testing on SQL, MySQL, just search for MySQL. So all these MySQL, SQL, Oracle, they provide their jar files, they provide their APIs. You just download them, add it in your project. Now you can see in the same project, we are able to handle Selenium, UI automation, web-based automation. We're able to handle API automation. We're able to handle mobile automation. We're able to handle the database automation as well. And rest, if we talk about desktop applications, then there is something called as Win App Driver, which is originated from Selenium itself. So you'll get the jar file from here. If not here, this you can download it from WinApp driver. WinApp driver. See, WinApp driver Selenium. So you'll be getting it from here, and the jar you should be able to get it somewhere from here itself. See, this is the jar file. You're gonna get it from somewhere over here. You'll be able to find it, right? So this also comes in a form of a jar file itself, right? You can add that jar file over here. Then you can even launch Notepad and perform automation on Notepad. Right? If you go to YouTube, then search for WinApp driver example of Notepad, you're going to see that example. And it's just one single jar file you need to use. So in one single project, you can handle all these testing. So that is the reason why Selenium is very popular in the industry, because anything that is feasible in Java, you can integrate that thing with Selenium. Why? Because Selenium is not a tool. If it is not a tool, there are no boundaries in Selenium. If we talk about QTP, QTP is a tool. There is a boundary. If there are 100 features in that tool, you can only use those 100 features and you can automate your test cases. But when we write test cases, we do a lot of permutation and combination. For every permutation combination, you're not going to find a functionality in QTP. So that's why at times we say 100% cannot be automated, right? Because QTP is not supporting that feature, then how we can automate it? So we go to HP, they sell their add-ons to support that feature. And they charge for those add-ons as well. But again, add-ons are also designed by developers. At times add-ons are there, at times add-ons are not there. So if add-ons are not there, then again, we cannot automate that functionality. But this is not with Selenium. Because Selenium is just a Java project. And we can integrate it with any Java project. Anything you need to handle, you'll get a library in Java. Just add that library in your project and automate that functionality. That is what Selenium. So while using Selenium, you can automate all these things easily. You can integrate all these things in one single project. So that is why Selenium is very popular. And the best part, you're not paying any license, any cost to use Selenium, to use APM, to use REST assured, to use all these SQL, MySQL, Oracle dependencies. You're not jar files, you're not paying anything to any company. All these are available in an open source library. Right? So this is one of the best things. And to get started, you start with Selenium, you build up a base of your programming language. Once your base is built up, you can add APM, you can add REST assured, you can add anything in that Java project. And once you're very much comfortable in Java, you want to explore more, use the same things in Python. Right? It's not like if you are expert in Java, you cannot work on Python. If you explore the video library that I have created, I have worked with Java. I have used the same concept in Python. I've created courses on APM Python, Selenium Python. Then I've also created Protractor JavaScript, Cypress JavaScript, right? I've also created my tutorials on Playwright Java. So if I can do it, you can also do it. Right? It's just like your base should be built up. Once the base is built up, you should be able to do all these things down the line, step by step. It's not like at the same time you need to learn Selenium as well, you need to learn Playwright as well, you need to learn Cypress as well. Step by step you need to take. Once you're comfortable in one tool, then you can add on another tool. For the time being, you can do Selenium and API at the same time. This is because both are the Java APIs. First, you are learning Java, your Java concepts are built up. Then you can add both UI and API part to it, right? And since we have already started with the API automation batch as well, we started with Postman first. So first manual part is getting covered, right? So people who have joined new will be going through the Java sessions at 8 o'clock, 6 p.m. They can join the rest assured part. So first manual, what are web services, what is API testing, how to use Postman. These are the topics which are going to cover, the manual part. And then till the time your Java is done, your API part will also gonna get started. So API and UI, you can take it parallelly. So within 3 months, 3.5 months, you should be able to cover your API automation as well as the UI automation. Because this is what the major demand in the industry. Companies are not just looking for UI automation. Because these days, every UI has their own APIs as well. And companies, the frameworks are designed in such a way they can handle UI as well as the API part in one single project. So UI, API automation, both are very, very important. Yeah, I'll be covering the framework from very scratch. I mean, from starting ABC, I'll be designing the project. It's not like I'll be picking up some framework, then gonna explain it to you. No, I'll be designing the entire framework from scratch. So don't worry about that part. We'll be working on some live projects. We'll see how to do end-to-end automation. You'll be capable enough to automate any website on your own if you thoroughly practice whatever that we are going to cover. Do we have recording for Jenkins? Yes, we do, and we are going to cover that in the live session as well. And no need to uninstall Java 17. If you have, you can continue with that as well.
Sir, I have tried, but I'm not able to configure the Java files. Do I need to change any setting?
No, I mean, what version of Java that you have?
11. I have shared the screenshot as well in the chat.
You're not able to. Okay, just you can just WhatsApp it to me. I'll check and see like what issues that you're facing. I'll help
Sure,
you.
it is not showing actually path. It is just showing till configure. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, just send me the screenshot. I'll go through it.
Thanks.
Sir, I am having Java 18, but still not.
Java 18, I don't recommend. Java 17 is, I've seen it's good. So, but Java 11 is best. So if you can uninstall it easily, it should not matter.
So Java 11 will work.
Java 11 will work with everything. Yeah.
Okay. And this thing is Selenium can also, I mean, rest assured can also be done through this thing. Can we handle that? Because as you
Yes. All the integration, even rest assured, Jenkins, Maven, Java 11 will be supported. So don't worry about it.
Okay. No, the way you are actually creating the object for
Yes,
APM
same
and
thing we
REST
do it
API.
in rest assured. Yeah. It's also a Java library. The classes, objects are available, like classes, methods are available. You can call them and automate your APIs.
APIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why companies, they focus on your programming knowledge. Because if you know, see, for developer, let's say I'm a Java developer, My programming concepts are very good. So what Selenium is for me? Just another project, right? I can explore it for a couple of days, and I can access all the methods and call them and automate my website, and I can access rest assured methods, rest assured classes, and I automate my APIs, right? So if my programming concept is good, then I can access any of these APIs. I can consume it in my project, and I can automate that thing.
So how to how to expert in this language codes?
The
Because
only key is your practice. The
No,
more you practice,
Hmm.
it's an incremental process, right? It's not like in one day or with just spoon feeding, you should be able to understand the entire programming. Even if you are continuously doing it for 5 years, the programming is something which is never ending process. So
but
you have to
most of the
make it in your
people
habit.
most of the people suggest that hacker rank test and things like that, which
Sorry,
I am not.
I didn't get that.
Most of the people suggest that go for hacker rank test and these tests, which while doing those things, no, I am not able to understand that syntaxes part, and most of the things, most of the questions is completely, even though the easiest one, I am not able to proceed on this, while doing it on IDE is very comfortable with me. So what do you have the suggestions for it? I mean, how
See,
to
this
actually
is
approach
again,
those?
again, it comes from practice. It comes from your own effort only. It's not going to come from by watching video or attending lectures. It's like once you are done with attending lecture, you have to write that code in the IDE first, and then if you can write it on a pen and paper and see you're able to write it without doing mistakes. So that is the only process. I mean, the more you write the code, the more you're going to get comfortable to that. Right. So I'll be giving you so many assignments during automation as well. So you I'll gonna give you live websites where you can practice this. So the more you're gonna do assignments, the more you practice, the more you try to not only do the assignments, you try to automate websites on your own. Pick up any website of your choice. Try hitting it. The more you try it, the more you're gonna face challenges, and when you face challenges, you troubleshoot it. Then that is where you're gonna get the learning from, right? Because if you're not getting challenges, if you're not facing any challenges, it means that you're not practicing. See, certificates I can provide you at the end of the session for the course completion. Otherwise, there is no official certification in Selenium. The knowledge of Selenium is more than a certification, right? But in case some companies they look for certificates, then you can get in touch with me. I'll gonna provide it to you. Okay, you're getting error for the version 1.16. See, I'm using the latest version of Selenium. I'm using the latest version of Chrome browser. So if you're facing any issue, try to uninstall your Chrome browser, reinstall it, and see if you're using the latest version of Selenium. So if these things are compatible, you're not going to face this issue. No need to use any external Chrome exe, Gecko driver exe. That is no more required.
So that means I have to reinstall the Chrome driver version or the Chrome browser version?
No Chrome driver version is just uninstall your Chrome browser, reinstall it, and that's it. I mean, if you are already using latest Selenium version. If you are not using, if you are using 4.11, 4.10, then try first importing the latest version and see if it works. Otherwise, just try uninstalling your browser once and then try it again.
Okay, yeah.
Rahul, what is the difference 3 and 4? What is the new thing it's added in the 4?
As the architecture and the CDP features. So CDP features is there's a whole big course that I've created on specifically on Selenium 4. So a lot of new features, new functionalities added. CDP is your Chrome Dev Tool protocol features. So you can change, like if you go over here, see these are Selenium 4.0 latest features. So you can handle SSL, geolocation, you can block some network requests, you can test it on a slow network. A lot of things we are going to cover it in the live sessions as well. So yeah, I'm gonna explain the architecture.
Can you show that previous page? Previous page, I'll take.
If you see, I've covered Selenium journey over here, like difference in version 1, 2, 3, 4, and then walked through with Selenium 4 updates and new features. Just try going through these 2 lectures. You should be able. Otherwise, we are going to cover this in the next session as well. So today we are already running out of time.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It was
Thanks.
2-hour session and it's more than 2 hours now.
The more discussion happened.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, today is just like more like a theoretical session. So, but there is no theory in Selenium. So from next session onwards, it's completely going to be practical. So don't worry about these things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so I guess guys, like you guys have enjoyed today's session and have not got bored.
Can you get a recording link tonight? By tonight?
Yeah, I'll try to upload this as soon as possible.
So Rahul, when you get a chance, can you please show the latest Jenkins configuration where we have to do now?
Latest Jenkins configuration, you can check it from the previous batch itself. So go to this particular link and from here, just check for the very recent batch. Just go to this batch, May 2023, and here you should be able to see Jenkins. Jenkins is actually I've not listed that topic, but it is covered in your data-driven framework. So here, once we are done with data-driven, then we started with Jenkins. So just check this day 12 of Selenium.
Even DevOps also we have, right?
Sorry?
In the DevOps video
as
also.
well, we have covered Jenkins. Yeah. Right. So yeah, just try going. And someone is asking, I mean, there is no separate course fee for the live session. It's just like you one time need to enroll for the lifetime membership, then you can access all the trainings for the lifetime. This is actually a very unique concept. So you can attend all.
Yeah, it is very useful. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Rahul, Yogesh here, one question I do
have. Sorry?
So are we going to cover framework like Spew this project? Are there other frameworks also?
Which
framework and likewise?
Yeah, we are going to cover in Selenium sessions, we are going to cover data-driven, keyword-driven, page objects, page factory. And then Cucumber BDD we are going to cover, but we are going to cover that in the API part. So same framework, you can use it with Selenium as well.
TestNG?
Yeah, TestNG will be definitely. I mean, framework is TestNG only. So TestNG will be covered. Without TestNG, we cannot create.
Yes. And can you please show me where to get the previous class recordings, or you directly mail it?
Okay, just log in and go to all courses, and then here you'll be able to find it.
Okay.
Right. Once you logged in, you should be able to see it over here. So all the previous batches.
Or today's class recording, where to?
Today class recording, I'll be adding it over here because I'm gonna add it to this batch. Like who are done with the Java session, they're starting with Selenium. So first day of Selenium is like today.
Okay.
Right, and then the next people who are starting with Java, you'll find your batch over here, batch September 2023, and the day 1 of Java will start.
Oh, he cries as if what pain he does.
Right?
Hi, Rahul.
Yeah, hi.
You're going to cover the rest assured then?
Rest assured, yes, we are going to cover. It's already started. First, we are covering Postman, and after that, we'll start with the rest assured. So first, the manual part of API testing is being covered.
So in that they're going to cover the Cucumber, not in the Selenium.
Yeah, not in the Selenium, but framework remains, Cucumber remains same. There is no change for UI or API. UI API is just the integration. If you want to see Cucumber for Selenium as well, then I have a dedicated course over here where I have designed the entire framework using Cucumber for Selenium. So there is a course that you'll find it over here, which is Cucumber for Selenium. So here I've designed it for Selenium. I've designed it for APM as well.
But it differs, no, actually, like adding the frames and all those things. How do you
all
handle
these things
actually?
are covered, yeah.
No, in framework, in REST Assured, we'll not have like frames. Those and all we don't have in that, no, REST Assured. Then how you'll cover those topics actually?
In REST Assured, what you don't have? I didn't get that.
No, in REST Assured, we don't have frames and we don't have like drop down. We don't have those kind of.
Those are the things that has nothing to do with the framework part. So that is your automation part that we are going to cover in automation.
No, in automation, for example, if you go for frames as like alerts, that will be like single piece of code, individual code. But if you go into the framework, we have to like if you
we are going to build that in page objects. We are going to build that in page objects.
In page objects, if you once like one frame is there, in number of pages if you open, we can use the same logic for all like that. You're going to build it?
Yeah, I mean, see, page objects are designed depending on the pages. So for page, you'll be creating a separate class. Will be in case that particular page contains some frame, so that will be handled in that particular class. And then later on, you can call it in your TestNG or Cucumber. You'll be calling those page objects itself. So that has nothing to do with Cucumber.
So it doesn't changes with the Cucumber or TestNG when you call it.
Exactly.
Sir, when we have that REST Assured class, what is the timing?
It's 6 p.m. India time. So like you joined today's session 8 p.m. So just 2 hours before that, the API batch started.
So how many classes are already?
Today was the 3rd session. So you can check those sessions from here in case you missed to attend those sessions. Then you need to go to this particular course and see day 1, day 2 of September. Day 3 is yet to be uploaded, so I'll be uploading it soon. So you'll be able to see day 1, 2, 3, and then tomorrow is the 4th session.
So it will be covering first manual part and later
first
on
manual and then REST Assured, yes. And you can see Cucumber and all these things are already covered with the previous batch.
Sir, can you just show me your Eclipse for a minute? I just want to see that what all jars you have already.
Pranjit, Appium Java may gonna take some time because we are in search for a good instructor, but Appium Python we are starting. So it's almost the same stuff. I mean, in Appium, like if you attend the Python sessions as well, you'll be able to convert that code into Java easily. The automation remains the same for Android, iOS both. For live class recording, the turnaround time is within 24 hours, you're gonna get the recording. But you need not to wait. You can even watch the previous batch. Same content is covered in the previous batch as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you everyone for your patience. I hope you have enjoyed the session. So I'll connect with you in the next session. And today recording, I'll be sharing it soon to everyone, to all your email ID. So once again, thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.